All right, I'm back after a unintended extended break. And just before I was getting ready to start, I went, oh no, I don't have any more white. But then I remembered I hadn't unpackaged it when I got it shipped from Dick Blick. So this is how the paint sticks come packaged. Used to be able to go to the art store and they would just be in little cubbies, completely unwrapped. And hey, Richard Art, I preferred it that way, less packaging. But it does protect them. So step A, pop it out. And then sometimes I'll start with that piece of paper on it. Then when I rub it down a little bit, I'll take it off. But pretty soon it's down to just the stick. And the reason I panicked was I was getting ready and I'm thinking this is all going to be pale, warm, yellowy orange tones. And I went, wait a minute, do I have any more white? And I went all through this box over here just off camera, the big milk crate full of paint sticks. And couldn't find any white in there. I was like, oh no, oh no. I know I just bought some. And sure enough, then I found the package from, I think it's Dick Blick or Jerry. Either Dick Blick or Jerry's Artorama. Either have them. My local art store doesn't sell them, which is, I'm not great at planning ahead. It's like I just get rolling on something and I realize, oh, wait a minute. I'm out of such and such, and then you have to wait for mail order delivery. Not that I don't have plenty of other things I'm working on, but it's like, shoot, now I gotta wait. I can't, I had this time blocked out for today and now I can't use it. That's always frustrating. Because while painting is a big priority, of course, there was a lot of other things incurred, including having to go to work to earn enough money, unless, of course, you people start buying a bunch of stuff. But I've made that mistake before. Mistake's the wrong word. But I have spent time where I was just working in the studio and didn't have an additional revenue stream. And be very nerve-wracking. The rule of thumb is you should have 6 months of your expenses in the bank in savings. So before you, and that's just never happened. Well, it happened once, but that required getting run into by a pickup truck while cycling to have that much in reserve for a period of time. Even then it wasn't a reserve because I'd gone through every reserve I had waiting for the settlement. That's a hell of a way to set money aside. It was a bad injury, but I won't bore you with the details. So I decided that yellow-orange was probably going to be the way to go. And yellow-orange, I don't know if you can see my little color wheel here. So there's a lot of blues and blue violets in here. So the complement of blue is yellow, complement of violet is, blue is orange, violet is yellow. So if it's blue to violet, then it should be yellow to orange. Now there's a fair amount of orange tones in the arms and such. The flesh tones, the areas that are depicted as flesh. So, I was thinking, of course, on a couch, the light is going to be striking the top of the pillows. I wish our pillows still looked this rigid. We have a dog that was my mother-in-law's dog who love to lay on top of couch cushions. And so if you have any fluffy cushions, he's mushed them all down. And it's an IKEA couch we probably bought new covers for about 6 or 7 times, but you can't buy new cushions. Now, you can see I've got a red line drawn for this shoulder and a blue line. And actually right here was an orange line. And this might have even been the original idea. So you can see I keep changing my mind on where that should be. I'm thinking the blue is the right one. But even this, I actually think the blue. But I don't know what color that's going to be yet. Because the color palette, and this is why I like using the paint sticks, color is a play, an interaction of all the colors. First off, all the colors in all of the painting, which is why you can see I'm working sort of in all sorts of areas. But it is also, it is a relationship of the color next to it. So I recommend looking up this book by Joseph Itten, I-T-T-E-N. It's all about the relationships of color. And it'll blow your mind how radically you can alter a color, not by changing that color, so like this orange. This orange is one thing next to this blue, but if I lay a yellow here, it's going to look different. And so that becomes a thing that you need to pay attention to, and why I like working the way I do. Because if I'm mixing on a palette, the colors next to each other may not be the same colors that the color I'm mixing will go next to on the painting. And so it changes. It isn't the same color. So by working right on the surface and creating the colors right here, right now, I have better control over the final color relationship product. The other thing with the paint sticks is how you build your color, because I'm mixing yellows and whites and oranges here, and which order I put them down on the paper will alter the color as well. So you can see this one had the white on top, but I'm getting a more intense color now by putting the white down on top of the orange, and then laying the yellow on top of that. Now, why I say uh-oh is, see, that blue, which I thought would have been dry, it's been over a week, picked up a little bit. And that's not great. So I'm going to lay some more white over it, which is certainly more opaque. But you can see how I'm getting this brown, and I'm not happy about that. So, not a lot I can do about it. So my options are live with it. And I'm not going to finish the painting tonight. So, live with it. Leave this on here. That will absorb some of that blue and come back late, come back another day and go over it again, and it will be less of a problem, which I think is what I'll end up doing. So see, I decided that was too intense, so I decided to come back again with some more white and some more yellow. And I'm going to let that fade as we go around her thumb. Is that the right color? No. That's okay. I don't need to know. Yet. And because we're doing this fade to orange, this deep fold of the couch cushion, I'm laying down some red first and mixing that with the orange. So I'm probably going to hit the same problem again right here. All right, so you get an idea where the thought processes are going. So, partially because I don't want to keep coming up with things to try to tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing. And two, so you can just sort of see the thing continue to pop out. I will switch shortly. So, I'm getting a little problem with the dried sides. So right now I'm going to chip them out. I don't know how much you can see that. But, so I've broken the little dried skin. Did you hear it click away? So I can get more of a mix and not so much of a drag. See, I'm also paying attention, like if I come down here, then I have more red on that side of the stick. So I have to sort of keep going back and forth. That's part of the reason I'm making all these multiple moves, is to evenly spread the color. So, this is more of the couch down here. It's actually problem. Wasn't paying attention to it. She's sitting on the cushion, and her butt's right here, and the cushion has to end there, right? So that's wrong right in there. Is that the color I want? Sometimes it can be tough to tell which color is which because you've got so much color on top of it. It was the color I wanted. So I'm taking a little bit of this vermilion. I'm going to use this to delineate that transition, perhaps. So now we're definitely going to have to come back into that to get it right. And then the other issue is we should probably have that area is going to be the shadow of her leg. this has to be resolved. And that would be shadows, but all of this, so if we continue that line down, here's the cushion. That's the back of the couch. We're not going to see any of the rest of it. But this has got to be I think what's happening is, now this couch in the real world is a chaise. I'm stunned about this blue still being loose and active. I don't know what that means. Should be. And since it is, and I'm picking some up, I've got to be careful not to pollute the color, because if I drag some of that blue back into the orange, remember blue and orange are complements, that gives you a real muddy color. So that's one of the things you need to be aware of, is like sometimes this mix through is good, and to a certain degree I try to let it happen, but I don't want to over control it, but I also don't want to under control it and end up with a bunch of mud. Okay, I keep saying I'm going to switch to time lapse. Perhaps I ought to actually do it. So, which will give you the opportunity to back up here and take a look at it. Hi, I'm going to cross the camera. Yeah, resolving those cushion backs is going to take some doing yet. We'll see where it goes. All right. Already been on here longer than I meant to be. So just about there, but I'm looking at this and the feet have kind of disappeared now. They're sort of dropping back into this dress. So, and when I showed this to Bridget in its earlier stages, she was a little bit upset about how her feet looked. Kind of like I was squeezing dead feet. You know, I've done a number of portraits in my life, and people can have, you know, we all see ourselves differently than we may truthfully appear. And as an artist, you frequently find yourselves caught in the reality and the mythos of someone's appearance. I actually had an experience with that doing a commission where I was painting a figure, and she really wanted herself sitting cross-legged on the floor in front of her fireplace with two of her pets. And if you're looking at your hip and thigh, you really, it exaggerates your thigh. It makes it look bigger than it is. And we are all a little self-conscious about our weight. It's been a tough thing about doing these videos for me, is I kind of look at myself and go, oh, is that really what I look like? Most notably the bald spot. Never knew it was there until I started doing these. But nevertheless, I do feel like she might have been a little more right than my initial reaction. Now, part of that is this foot is in shadow, and that's why I had taken the dark color. But as I just said, when I started showing this last little bit, they really were starting to disappear. So now, because it's dry considerably, I can come back over with this warm color. And it's not making brown. Make it a little bit of brown, but that's okay. I'm going to step back for a second and look at that. And if I think, well, wrong, oh boy, oh no, that was the blue on me. I don't know where that blue came from. That's the thing about wiping your, well, that's the problem. We're not. Yeah, I don't know where that blue and that yellow came from, but boy, not what I needed. Must have come from the rag. But I'm leaving that blue up under the recess of the toes. To help show the shadow of the toes a bit too. Oh, I see where it came from. Because I had just done this, there's a lot of blue on this alizarin crimson, and that transferred over to that yellow paint stick. You know, clean workspace and all that. But also over here, I think it'll pop it out from that shadow of that other leg too. Bridget has this, her second toe is longer than her big toe, which apparently is a sign of the Dalai Lama. Did you know that? Now, she is a very mystical and wise and oftentimes quite calming person, so maybe she is. Of course, as of yet, the Dalai Lama hasn't been female. I need to get back and look at this because I'm right up on it. It's a little hard to read. It's slightly a different painting up close, which is the way I would look at paintings at the museum. Let's see what the artist already did. Yeah, I think that was it. Kind of feeling like this piece is really close to done. And to that point, I'm going to stop this as I walk in front of it, set my paint sticks down. Stop this here. And let you see what it looks like up close. So admittedly it will be a little shaky. So here's a close-up of those feet I was just working on. And you can see just what the texture is really like. So when I'm painting the piece, this is more what I'm seeing. And see, I like right down there, see that blue popping through? That, of course, was the original color of the feet. And that pops up. And that's where this painting over becomes really helpful. And I'm sure there are some, I'm going to stand up, so sorry about the shake. But like this hand has got some anatomical problems. But I've decided to allow that mistake to stay because I just think it aids the piece. And then you notice one of the last decisions here was the red of my shirt, and then I balanced that with the green of the background behind the couch. But that's the finished piece. Almost finished. Needs its title yet. And that's one of the things about the titles, is that Bridget is the one who titles the paintings. And it helps to get somebody else to look at the painting. They see things that I don't see. Any viewer will see something. Hopefully will see something I didn't see or have a different interpretation about what's going on. And so and she's just very, very clever with words. So I bring her in to title the work. I'm thinking something around nocturnal ritual, and I get veto power. Nah, I really don't. So again, to remind you, please, if you've enjoyed watching these and if you're learning something, give me a follow. I appreciate those couple of you who've subscribed lately. Always would love to hear your comments. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments and I can try to address it in the upcoming videos as we move forward. But nevertheless, thank you for your time. It means a lot that you people watch these things. And all the work is for sale through my website, greigleach.com, Greigleach. And again, always paint what you know, hopefully know what you paint what you love, in this case very much what I love, and hopefully you'll love what you paint. I think this is done. I have to sit with it for a while now.